Thank you for the warm-up, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Mark Bourget with Screen Solutions, we're your rescreening specialist. And like I said in my commercial, I'm going to get dizzy and fall down out here. Like I said in my commercial this morning, we do replace screen, but we're really in the business of making your pool cage or your screen room like it was when it was brand new. So obviously we don't replace the metal, but we clean everything, we replace any screws, we check the structure from one end to the other. So, my background had nothing to do with school. And I've got a couple of years of college, not like Bob, 5 degrees. And I've been in the military, I'm a Vietnam veteran. And after I got out of the Army, I met Karen, and 5 months later we were married. We've been that way for our 40th anniversary was the 29th of October.
Wow.
So, and Karen's getting better.
Good. Yes, very good. That's good.
And so I went to work at a couple of crappy jobs. Left there and went to Caterpillar and became a Caterpillar certified instructor for truck engines and electric power generation. And actually I was one of 123 people in the world that were certified as instructors to do that. And it didn't keep me from getting laid off. So after 10 years working there, I got laid off. I was looking for another job, and I could have gone to another cat dealer, but I did not within 5 months off the Dakota. That's like jumping out of the freezer with a cryogen thing. And some of you guys don't know about me. My first name is James. But if you call me Jim, I'm going to think you're talking to my father. So in 2003. My son Jared and I started Screen Solutions. I had no idea you could make a living selling the screen. And sometimes I still wonder if you can. Anyway, my son Jared had been in the business for 3 years already. And he convinced me that it was time to come down here and we start a business together. So that's what we did. And unfortunately, we lost Jared at the end of 2005 in a car accident. But we had enough time to teach me the business, so we kept on going. But we started the business with the intent on being the best there is in the pool cage and screen room repair business, and we think we've achieved that goal. We rescreen and repair and renew more pool cages than any other screen owner company in the Tampa Bay area. Our experience in the 8 years we've been in business, we've done total rescreens on more than 1,500 pool enclosures, and we've had more than 2,100 total customers. My crew, and the one that really makes all of this happen, I'm the promise maker. My son Jeff is the promise keeper. He makes me look good on a daily basis. And also his crew, Randy and Brandon, they get the job done every day for us. So, why would you rescreen a pool enclosure?
Keep the bugs in. Because the turkey buzzers.
Shoot
the hell out of it.
We rescreened Tom Rogan's pool cage before he was a member here, before I even knew.
I was convinced.
Yeah, I worked at his next door neighbor's house, and he said, "Come talk." And but why we rescreened on his case was because of turkey buzzers, because they were laying on his pool cage and beating the hell out of it. We did his neighbor's house just because the screen was old, it was really ratty looking, the pool cage was dirty, and she had a super gutter, which is the interface between the pool cage and the house. that wasn't working, it wasn't big enough. She has a big house, little tiny gutter. So we ended up putting a big one on it also. Something that, if the gutter is there, just like with Bob, if the gutter is already there, we can work on it. If the gutter isn't existing in the first place, then you have to hire somebody else to put one on it. So we put a new gutter on our house, and we made her pool cage look awesome again. And it still looks that way. And it will for 8 or 9 or 10 years. The other reason is pretty obvious stuff, rips in the screen, holes poked through it. You've all driven down the road and seen a pool enclosure that looks like a checkerboard on the top of it. Well, the screen that's the black squares, that's new screen. The white squares and the silver squares, the stuff that really should have been replaced when the black ones got replaced, and they didn't. So the guy that sold him the job wasn't very good at what he did. What's the cost to rescreen a pool cage? Anybody in here ever done that? Yeah, you haven't.
$2,000.
The average pool cage is about 1,800 square feet of screen. That's how you price them. So you measure how many linear feet of walls you have, by times how tall they are, and then you measure a length and width on the deck, and you get the square footage up in the roof, and whatever that number is, you multiply it by 1.1 to account for the peak. Add the two together, and you come up with approximately 1,800 square feet. Tom Brogan's was bigger than that. A lot of them we do are smaller. Yeah. a lot of them we do are smaller than that also. But anyway, its average price is, on an average cage, is 90 cents a square foot, so it comes out to $1,620, plus any repair work that has to be done. And that usually amounts to another $100 to $120. So about $1,700 for each screen. The screen we use, which is the best in the business, will last 10 to 12 years, sometimes 13 or 14. So figuring it at the 10-year time frame, that's about $170 a year to have good screen in your pool enclosure, or $3.30 a week. So what do you waste $3.30 a week on? The lottery. So what do you get for $3.30 a week anywhere else that you use as much as you do your screen enclosures? Not much. So that's really where it comes from. And that's not to say that your screen enclosure couldn't cost $4,000 to rescreen if you have a really huge one. But average is around $1,700. That's our average charge. Wow, I still got 4 more minutes. Cool.
There you go. Two more minutes.
That was really cool. Okay, so what a rescreen consists of is, we strip all the screen out of your screen enclosure. If it needs to be pressure washed, that's when we pressure wash it, not with the screen.
Mark, can you explain to them, remember that one house where you came out and you said the way that they had done the screen was totally different than you did? They just kind of went from one piece to the next and they didn't cut them or anything. Can you explain that just so people understand what they did?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I'll get to that in just a second. So then we do any repairs on the structure that have to be done also after we wash it, which means replace the tap cons around the bottom if they're bad, replace door closer kits, replace door hinges. So any little odds and ends that the enclosure over the previous 10 years needs to have, then we take care of those at that same time. And then we put in the new screen. And one of the things that Rich asked was about how we do it different from most, well not most, but about half the other people out there, is on the roof, you can't see the roof. So a lot of our competitors will put screen in from the gutter out to the back wall of the pool cage between each pair of beams. And once that's all done, they consider that a done job. So you've got these big, huge rectangles of screen going over the top of your pool enclosure. And you've got all these little crossbars in there that are doing nothing but holding the screen from sagging. And the way it's supposed to be done, and the way we do it every time, is after we put the screen in like that in big sheets, pull it tight, Then we go back to every one of those crossbars, slice the screen down the middle and put a spline in on each side so that every square ends up being an individual piece of a roll. Thanks for asking, Rick. So, how do you refer us? What do you look for?